Internazionale still remain the leaders over in Serie A with Napoli hot on their tails, who of course will take full advantage this weekend. We're going to get into that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today is all about match number 28, that's right, in Serie A, and we'll get to it in a second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe button, sub shop for Serie A, Babin Rovers, World Football. We're going to all here under one roof. Yeah, that's right, the race for Champions League is hot to bloody trot. Even, of course, 6th place, maybe in 7th place, Fiorentina, still in the discussion for, of course, those Champions League spots. We'll take a look at it, all of it in a second. If you knew where you've been, smash your subscribe. Your one-stop shop for Serie A is right here. Big shout out to the patrons and a big shout out to the members. You know who you are. What we're going to do now, though, is revisit those last round of games and, of course, kick on forward to this round of action. So these are those guys, and they're coming at you without the result of the Juventus against Verona match. That's, of course, taking place on a Monday. I'm already out and about by the time this game is being played. So we're going to look at the games that have taken place, and they did include a 1-0 win for Fiorentina over Lecce, on with a 2-0 win. Atalanta could only draw against Venezia. There it is, the big one. Napoli 1, Internazionale 1. I went with a 2-2 draw. Udinese with a 1-0 win over Parma. I went with a 0-0. Torino 2-0 winners over Monza. I went with a 1-0 win. Bologna did beat Cagliari 2-1. I went with a 2-0 win. Genoa, 1-1 draw against Empoli. I went with a 1-0 win. Roma did beat Como 2-1. Got the one spot on the nose. Lazio with a shock 2-1 win at Milan, which of course puts more pressure on the coach, if not already. And then, of course, we'll have to wait and see about the Juventus against Verona. So, of course, that's the situation there. The table, of course, looks a little bit like this without the Juventus match. That match could see them going into the top 4, probably likely. But it's still it is Napoli, and then Atalanta are in touching distance. Going down, Monza, Venezia, and Empoli right here, right now. But it could all change very, very soon, of course, as can the Super Brew, which I'm not going to give you an update on that now, because I am running out of time, and I've got to get my ass on the road. So, yeah, we'll take a look at that when I come back and I have a bit more time on hands. Just keep doing your thing. I'll do my thing, you do your thing. But these are the next round of games, and these are those. We're going to start with Friday's match between Cagliari and Genoa on the 7th of March. Beware the 7th of March. The Unipol Domas. Cagliari and Davide Nicola just one win in the last 6. They're 15th right now, 25 points for the season. Up against, it's the weird looking, it's like they look like they're playing against each other in a mirror image, the jerseys, traditionally anyway. Up against Genoa, for Patrick Vieira, 50% form for them right now. 1-2, lost 2 and drawn 2. They sit 12th with 31 points. They played 47 times since 1993. 18 wins Cagliari, 19 wins Genoa, 10 draws between the two sides. Last time around at this venue, it was a 2-1 win for Cagliari back in November 2023. The reverse fixture, a 2-2 draw in Genoa way back in November. Genoa on the back of that draw, Empoli, Cagliari with a loss to Bologna most recently. The odds right here, right now, what are we looking at? It's very, very tight. Cagliari fancy their chances on this one. I think I'm going the other way here. No, I'm going with a point, sitting on the fence on a Friday night. Como, they're up against Venezia this coming Saturday, the 8th of March, at the Stadio Giuseppe Signalia. Como under Cesc Fabregas, 13th in the table, 28 points for the season, 2 wins at the last 6 matches. Up against Venezia under Eusebio Di Francesco, who are 19th right now, 18 points for the season. They are winless in at least the last 10 games. They played 12 times, these two clubs, since 2003, 4 wins apiece and 4 draws. And speaking of draw, the last time they played, it was a Venezia. It was a 2-2 draw. But stretch it back a little bit back into Serie B, it was a 2-1 win last time they played at this venue in Como. Como on the back of that 2-1 loss to Roma. Venezia on the back of successive 0-0s, drawing with Lazio and then Atalanta. But they haven't scored a goal in the last 4 matches. They are not fancies for this one either. Como, your fancies with the bookies on this one. 1-0 winners in the end for Como. Parma next up against Torino. Coming at Enio Tardini. Parma under Christian Chivo, the Romanian, sitting in 17th right now, 23 points for the season, just 1 win in the last 6. Up against Torino under Paolo Vanoli, 11th right now, 34 points for the season, just one defeat in the last 6 matches. They're rocking 67% form under play. Parma 29 times since 1993. 15 wins Parma, 6 wins to Torino. There's been 8 draws between the two sides. Last time around at Parma, it was a 3-0 win for Torino way back in January 2021. The reverse fixture in Torino this campaign was a 0-0 draw. Parma haven't scored a goal against Torino in the last 3. And they're coming into this on the back of a 1-0 loss themselves against Udinese. Torino on the back of a 2-0 win over Monza most recently. The odds right here, right now. Parma are, it's actually very, very tight. It's a smidgen favoured for Torino. So Torino slight favoured with the bookmakers. I'm going with a 2-1 win as well back in Torino on the road. Lecce, they're taking on AC Milan. That's right, Sergio Conceição is in the hot seat, just one win though in the last 6. Up against Lecce and Marco Giampaolo, who are 16th right now, 25 points for the season. They've actually got better form right now than AC Milan. They're rocking 33% form to Milan's 25. They played 29 times since 1993. 2 wins Lecce, 15 wins Milan. There's been 12 draws. Last time around at Lecce, it was a 2-2 draw back in November 2023. The reverse fixture, a 3-0 win for Milan, of course, over at the San Siro. Milan on the back of a 2-1 loss to Lazio. Lecce on the back of a 1-0 loss to Fiorentina. They haven't scored a goal, though, in the last 4 matches. Goodness gracious me. Lecce, though, not fancy. Of course, AC Milan are the favourites for this one, and rightly so. 2-0 winners. This is pretty much, if they don't get a win here, Sergio Conceição could be out on his ear. Meanwhile, Internazionale taking on Monza, coming at you over at the Giuseppe Meazza. Inter under Simone Inzaghi, 67% form for them right now. Just one defeat in the last 6. They are top of the pops, 58 points for them. Up against Monza under Alessandro Nesta, they are 20th with 14 points. They played 6 times in 2020. 3 wins Inter, 1 win Monza, 2 draws between the two sides. Last time around over at this very venue was a 2-0 win for Inter back in August 2023. The reverse fixture, a 1-1 draw in Monza back in September. Monza, though, on the back of that 2-0 loss to Torino, haven't scored a goal in the last 3. Inter on the back of that 1-1 draw against fellow title challengers Napoli. 1-1 it was back then. Of course, they are massively fancied on this one. Of course, they are. I'm going to go with a 3-0 win here in a busy week for Inter with Champions League football on the reckoning. Meanwhile, Verona taking on Bologna on Sunday, March the 9th at the Stadio Matigando Petergodi. Verona under Paolo Zanetti, 14th for the table, 26 points for the season. 2 defeats in the last 6. So 2 defeats in the last 5. Bologna under Vincenzo Italiano are sitting in 6th right now, 75% form. And of course, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Have played Verona 32 times since 1996. 7 wins Verona, 17 wins Bologna. There's been 8 draws between the two sides. Last time around over at this very venue, the Matigando Petergodi, it was a 0-0 draw back in September 2023. The reverse fixture, a 3-2 win for Verona in Bologna back in December. Bologna on the back of that 2-1 win over Cagliari. Verona beating Fiorentina most recently. Good bit of form right there. They are unfancied though. Bologna expected to get a bit of a revenge here. I'm also going that way with a 2-1 win for Bologna this weekend. Napoli against Fiorentina did a ding-dong classic at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. Napoli under Antonio Conte, sitting in 2nd in the table right now, 57 points for the season. But however, winless in the last 5. But 4 of those have been draws. Up against Fiorentina under Rafael Palladino on the back of a win. But they're rocking 50% form for them right now, sitting in 7th with 45 points. They played 51 times since 1994. 22 wins for Napoli, 16 wins Fiorentina, 13 draws between the two sides, including, what are we including? We're not including nothing. The last time they played at this very venue was a 3-0 win for Napoli back in January 2024. It was in the semi-final of the Super Cup. Last time they played in the league, though, at this venue was a 3-1 win for Fiorentina back in October 2023. And the reverse fixture in Fiorentina this season, it was a 3-0 win for Napoli as well. Napoli on the back of that draw against Inter. Fiorentina with that 1-0 win over Lecce. The odds for this one, though, Napoli fancied, of course they are. They should bounce back here with a 3-1 win, get the first win in a long time, and maybe leapfrog Inter in the process. Who knows? Empoli up against Roma then. Let's get into it. Coming at you, the Carlo Castellani. Empoli under Roberto Di Viesi. They're 18th right now, 22 points for the season. Back-to-back games without a loss. Up against Roma under Claudio Ranieri, doing the business. 8th in the table, 92 points for the season. They've won 4 in the spin, unbeaten in at least the last 6. They've played 30 times these two clubs since 1997. 4 wins Empoli, 21 wins Roma. There's been 5 draws between the two sides. Last time around over in Empoli, it was a 2-1 win back in May 2024. The reverse fixture, also a 2-1 win for Empoli at Roma back in August. Empoli, though, on the back of that draw against Genoa. Meanwhile, Roma on the back of that 2-1 win over Como. They've won 3 on the spin. Actually won 4 in the spin, but the last 3 have all been at home. They've got Champions League, European action this weekend up against Bilbao. Big, important game that is. But they're expected to win this game in the league. I'm going with the 1-0 win, just the 1-0 win to keep them right in the thick of things for European spots next season. Lazio are last, but we're going to go to Juventus next. They're taking on Atalanta. Big week for Juventus, of course. No Champions League football, no more. They've got a game tonight, so we'll see how that pans out. But Thiago Motto's boys are 5th, 49 points for the season. They've lost twice in the last 3 up against Atalanta. Giampiero Casperini also so no Champions League football for them. They're rocking 50% form, 1-2 lost to and drawn to over the last 6. They sit third, 55 points. They played each other 59 times since 1993, 36 wins for Juventus, 5 wins at Atalanta, 18 draws, of course. This match taking place at the Allianz Stadium in Turin. Last time they were there was a 2-2 draw back in March 2024. The reverse fixture this campaign was a 1-1 draw in Atalanta back in January. Juventus crashing out the Coppa Italia to Empoli, goodness gracious me, in the quarter-final stages. That was the last match. Meanwhile, Atalanta on the back of that 0-0 draw against Venezia has been back-to-back clean sheets following their Champions League exit to Club Brugge. The odds for this one, Juventus have it. It's going to be very, very edgy. It could be a draw, but I am leaning towards the black and white here. The white lady, is that what they call it, the white lady? 2-1 winners for Juventus in the end. And then finally, it's Lazio. It's Udinese. It's coming at you on Monday night at the Stadio Olimpico. Lazio under Marco Baroni are fourth, 50 points for the season. They've just won once in the last 4. Up against Udinese and Kostya Runjic. They are 10th right now, 39 points for the season. Have a good old season, Udinese. Unbeaten in the last 5. They won 3 on the spin. They sit with 39 points. They played each other 63 times since 1993. 34 wins Lazio, 15 wins Udinese, 14 draws. Last time around at Lazio, it was a 2-1 win for Udinese back in March. Udinese also picked up the win at the Stadio Friuli back in August. They're coming into this on the back of 3 successive clean sheets and back-to-back 1-0 wins. Lazio on the back of that 2-1 win over Milan. Big win it was. The odds for this one, though, Lazio fancied. Of course they are. They're at home. They should win this one. 2-1 winners in the end. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like. Inter will be still top. Napoli will be second. And, of course, Atalanta are in third. Going down, Monza, Venezia, and Empoli. Of course, we'll see how Juventus get on in that bonus game or extra or the catch-up game. Anyway, that's what I've got. Make sure you subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. Until then, guys and girls, we're done. We'll be back very, very soon.